In less than a week, the government could shut down, and millions of seniors are asking the same question. What happens to Social Security checks and Medicare if that deadline passes? The answer is not as simple as yes or no. It depends on what ends up in the budget bill, and right now both parties in Congress are locked in a fight over what to include, what to cut, and how those decisions could affect programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. What might surprise you is how much of this entire debate actually circles back to seniors, the very people who depend most on these programs. So let's break it down in simple terms. A government shutdown happens when Congress fails to pass a new budget, or at least agree on a temporary extension. The deadline is October 1st. If no deal is reached, the government shuts down. That means hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed. Military families could go without paychecks, and services that people rely on every single day slow down or stop altogether. And right in the middle of this storm, seniors are left wondering whether their benefits will be safe or if they'll get caught in the chaos. The reason this is happening is political deadlock. Democrats are pushing to extend subsidies for healthcare, undo recent cuts to Medicaid, restore funding for programs like public broadcasting, and add new rules on how money is spent. Republicans say they don't want all those changes added to a short-term bill. They want a simple, clean extension to keep the government open while negotiations continue later. One side argues that healthcare and senior programs need to be protected right now. The other side insists those bigger issues should wait. That clash is the engine driving us closer to a shutdown. But here's the important part. Social Security checks themselves are not the first thing at risk. That's because Social Security payments don't come out of Congress's yearly budget. They're funded through the Social Security Trust Fund, which continues operating whether lawmakers strike a deal or not. That means your monthly check should still arrive. The problem is everything that surrounds those payments. During a shutdown, Social Security offices often run with reduced staff. That can lead to extremely long lines, hours of waiting, and phone lines that are almost impossible to get through. Paperwork that isn't urgent, like replacing a lost card or requesting detailed records, gets pushed to the back of the line. So while the money continues to flow, the support system slows down dramatically. And for seniors who need help with disability claims or urgent paperwork, that slowdown can feel just as painful. Now what about Medicare and Medicaid? This is where the budget fight cuts deeper. Medicaid is especially important for covering nursing homes, long-term care, and medical costs for people with limited income. Democrats want to reverse recent cuts, saying that seniors and low-income families can't afford to lose access. Republicans say those changes should not be tied to this short-term debate. Medicare itself isn't about to stop, but the way Congress funds healthcare could shape how much support is available in the years to come. It's less about whether checks go out tomorrow and more about what future budgets mean for the strength of the program down the road. For anyone currently applying for benefits, the best thing you can do is file as early as possible, even if you don't have all your documents. That way your claim date is protected. Keep records of your attempts to call or visit, because they count in what's called protective filing. And remember, any Social Security office in the country can help you, not just the one in your area. Those steps won't erase the delays, but they do protect your benefits if the shutdown drags on longer than expected. The bigger picture here is that Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid remain political battleground. Each side has different ideas about how much funding these programs deserve and how they should be managed in the future. That's why a short-term budget fight today can influence how secure these benefits feel years from now. The truth is, the checks will likely keep coming, but the services, the support, and the long-term strength of these programs really do depend on what choices are made in Congress. So the real question isn't just whether the government shuts down this week. It's whether lawmakers are willing to stop using deadlines as weapons and finally sit down to protect the programs millions of seniors depend on. Because Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid aren't just numbers on a page, they are lifeline. And if nothing changes, each fight like this leaves those lifelines a little weak.